Hello friends, and welcome to another figure study where I've decided I'm going to torture you one more time with a Korean transforming robot toy. I can't say for certain whether this will be the last time because as of right now, this is the only figure that I have left in that particular category that I have not made a video on, but that could always change. Anyway, we're taking a look at Tobot Cargo. And Cargo, as you can tell, is some kind of postal van with a travel carrier thing on top. I'm assuming it's meant to carry packages, but I don't know. What's interesting about Cargo is a bit of a departure from the more classic Tobots that I've covered in the past. He still kind of fits within the aesthetic, but he's also more complex. Zero in Adventure Z, it's just vehicle turns into robot. Terrical is a little bit closer in terms of what's going on with Cargo, because Terrical has that extremely weird armored tank-like mode where the top, like the roof kind of flips over and then the little smokestack can become a cannon on top. Cargo, I feel like, kind of is in his own class, I guess, compared to the others because of the fact that he's essentially got his van mode with the chunk on top, which you can remove, which I will in a minute. But then he also has his weird floaty ocean van mode thing. It's bizarre, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First and foremost, he is a mail carrying van, and it looks pretty good, actually, all things considered. The back is a little bit, like it's hard to tell what's supposed to be lights and what's not. I think these up here are meant to be the tail lights, but the tone of red that they used is so close to the red that they used for these other details and this red plastic. It's really hard to tell. I feel like that could have benefited from maybe being orange or something like that, then it at least would have stood out better. But the detailing is nice. I like that the rear window and the side windows and all of that are black. I believe this looks to be painted, whereas the side windows and the front window are black plastic. But it is nice too. They painted the door handles silver. That's pretty impressive, really. And of course, you got silver rims. You got all this stuff going on in the front, and yeah, it's a nicely detailed van until you pop this off and look at it from the top, and oh boy. Now, I don't mind the clips and posts for the different modes, but there are these weird notches along the top here and these weird gaps in here. I don't really know why those are there unless it's some weird airflow thing for like the ratchet joints that are in there, but this is messy. But what's cool about this is you could essentially do multiple things with this in multiple modes. Like for the car mode, you can turn this into its little carrier thing and slap it on top, or you can split it apart and open this up, and clip it together, and now there are clips here that will clip up here, and we'll look at this in more detail in a bit. Those clip up here, and also these little divots up here, these little posts will peg into. Actually, while I'm showing this off, let me dim things a little bit better so that we can see these details a little bit better. So that clips onto the top, and so that keeps the top relatively clean. And then this thing splits open and flattens out like this. And then what you can do here is, on the underside, you flip out these wheels, not all that dissimilar from a particular time-traveling DeLorean, and then find the appropriate pegs to go in the appropriate places. So you've got this clip here, and this peg here, so that's how you know how that lines up. And you just clip that in, and then clip the front in. That is a solid clip. And here is the water mode for the van. I think the way this is supposed to work is that he floats and like these sort of act as propellers, maybe, or maybe there's additional flotation points, but this is really silly, but I also kinda love it. If nothing else, I love the fact that you have options. Why do these stick? Took me a minute, but I figured it out. You want to kind of, yeah, okay, that makes it so much easier. When you're moving the wheels, you want to push forward. It shifts forward ever so slightly. So you can see it's not moving. If you push forward, then it moves a lot easier. And similarly, when you're going up, if you push forward, then it comes up so much easier. Yeah, that is, that's the trick. And yeah, it's an interesting vehicle mode, and I appreciate the fact that it's got a secondary mode. It's silly and kind of pointless ultimately, but I do like it. Would you believe I almost forgot to do vehicle mode size comparisons? 'Cause I sure would. Anyway, here he is with the standard deluxe squad, and yeah, I know he's got this thing on the top which does bulk him out a little bit, but like, that's pretty easy to just pretend it's not there. So yeah, even without the roof rack, he's still massive. Here he is with a Tobot more in line with his own line, I guess. I think these are all from the same like earlier Tobot series, but yeah, here is Cargo with Terrical. Here is Cargo with a slightly more contemporary Tobot, that being Tobot V Captain Jack. And here he is with the Duck Tank. Okay, so to transform this thing, where to start? What I'm gonna do is push up from here. So push this chunk this way and kind of pull these sides down. Actually, let me readjust, because it's always better when you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so push this because these this section clips in up here. You want to push that down, and that will also unclip these bits from here. You can kind of see the post right there that clips in right in there. So slide this back as far as it'll go, and then rotate these back so the back of the van is still facing this way, and then this stuff's just ratcheted up. And there you can better see the post I was talking about. And what the heck, let's get this bit done now. So you want to make sure that this is slid down all the way, because it will click into place. And when you bring this down, these will clip in back here. So bring that down, and that will bring up the head and clip that in place. Now, with these bits up, can split the arms, and those will lock into place there. And these bits here, they're like a sunroof type deal, kind of, but then that's the real sunroof. You just slide these down to give clearance to the elbows. And there are these little things here. It's a little awkward to do, but you slide these bits up, and those will kind of lock these arms in place so that they can't go forward. Now, this section of the front of the car, of the windshield, hinges up, and this will clip in here, and this will kind of sit in there, like so. But when this is clipped in, this won't really be able to move because of the angles involved, so that stays nice and secure. Now, you want to shift his waist section down and forward. So as you can see, I think you can kind of see his pelvis, it's kind of going up like this. So just pull that down, and that will pop this little button out. You can see right there. Straighten out his legs, split his legs, and then the feet will just come down and clip in right here, and then bring the feet the rest of the way up. And here we have Tobot Cargo in his robot mode, and it's actually a pretty decent looking robot mode. He does have some unsightly clips and screw holes in the fronts of his shoulders up there, but I think that's relatively forgivable. I really like what the windshield kind of does with the chest, and how that section shifts up and makes this interesting chest panel while also clearing up some space down here so that you see some new knee and leg details revealed. It's also interesting how he wears his alt mode, in that he's got pretty significant chunks of car just kind of acting as a pant leg, and like a bit of a door sticking up there. It's weird, but it works for me. I don't know. And he's also got this chunk of car back here that kind of works as like a jetpack or something. And they even molded a little bit of detail in there too, to kind of get that point across. Also worth pointing out, in this mode, if you wanted to, you could actually bring the wheels out to maybe give him more of like a flight mode look. I don't know. It's an option. Personally, I prefer to leave the ones in the legs in, but I do kind of like having these ones sticking out of the back. It just kind of feels more flight packy, you know? Proportion-wise, pretty good. It's got the baggy pants, but other than that, it's pretty much just like the backpack bit, so like the proportions overall are pretty nice. The colors are good. There's a lot of nice breakup here. I really like what's going on in like the central part of the body here. There's a lot of detail. There is some kibble right around here, but it still feels visually clean. It's just like nice solid blocks of color breaking up other solid blocks of color. Some nice alteration and alternating between colors. There's some nice detailing with the shoes that have kind of like almost like a Velcro laces kind of thing going. They did paint a little bit of red there too. That's cool. The legs themselves have some nice detailing, though there is this unsightly orange on the inside of the thigh there. But I also really like what they did with the chest, with this kind of red deco kind of in the rib section and then in the middle there, but then this orange kind of cutting through it. And as I said, I really like the look of this torso detailing here. That's really cool. Like the shape is neat. I like how the black and the white break up the orange and the red. And it's a very cohesive color scheme throughout that's just broken up really nicely in this kind of central area. As for the head, it's kind of typical old school Tobot in that there's not a lot of detailing to it. He has no real face. It's just a blank faceplate with little visor eyes. His faceplate and eyes are distinct when compared to other old school Tobots, but it's still a very plain face. That being said, I do like that they gave him this kind of like red outline, kind of chin cover thing, and also, of course, these orange goggles. It gives him a very kind of snowboarder vibe. And there is a distinct reason I mentioned that, because that's where this stuff comes in. Now, this can't really store on the robot mode in a general sense. I mean, you could, theoretically, if you really wanted to, you could use these clips here and clip it back into the arm. So you could have, like, it just kind of sticking off of his arm like that. But what you can do instead is there are these little kind of half clips here and here that clip into the bottoms of his feet. So you can clip that in and clip that in. That makes it more like he's snowboarding, and it amuses me greatly. We still have to talk about this thing. And this thing, well, when it's opened up, you can see it's like a little computer thingy. There is a button here for electronics. I don't have batteries in it because I just don't care. But anyway, it's like a little computer thing. It's meant for like signing for packages. And actually, let me grab the toe key off the bottom of the surfboard here. And so the end of the toe key works like a little stylus, and you can write or draw little things on the screen there. It's not ideal, but it does kind of work. And then you use this to erase it. It's kind of like those, I forget what they were called. It wasn't an Etch-a-Sketch, but it was kind of in the same vein where you would draw a thing and then like move a little lever and it would make the drawing go away. Anyway, you can fold this back so that it closes, and this can slot, like his fingers can just go through the little handle there, and now he's carrying his little thingy. I just really like that. Anyway, let's move him off to the side so we can do some size comparisons, and I will remove this so we can get a better idea of that, of his height as well. But for now, here he is with the standard deluxe squad, and he's an old school Tobot, so he's quite large. I think I need to turn this light back on, so there we go. But here he is with a older and newer Tobot, that being Terrical, which is much more in line with the same kind of series as Cargo there, and then Tobot v Captain Jack, which is a much more modern take. Now, let me remove this so that we can get a more accurate kind of height. But anyway, with the surfboard thing not under his feet, here he is once again with the standard deluxe squad, and he's a Tobot, so even without a little bit of extra height, he's still huge. Here he is once again with Terrical and Captain Jack. And here he is with the duck tank. Alright, let me get him kitted out again and we will wrap this up. Alright, I think that is going to do it now that we've got Cargo back in his proper snowboarding setup. I do really like this figure. He's definitely, got Tobot limitations. He doesn't have bicep swivels, he doesn't have a waist swivel, he doesn't have thigh swivels. He's a little bit tricky to balance both standing and on his snowboard, unless you find that nice kind of center of gravity. Once you find it, he's pretty solid, but it can be a little tricky to find. Regardless, he is fun. He's cool. He does some neat stuff, and he's definitely a departure from the kinds of Tobots that I've been used to, but I'm glad I got him. I like that he's got so many different options and weird little accessories, but like they all have places to go in his different modes. But anyway, that's enough about what I think. What do you all think of Tobot Cargo? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.